Hello everyone, I'm Shruti Mundra. Welcome to the second season of Voices of Vision, where we explore real stories of clarity, courage, connection, purpose, and transformation. Today, I'm speaking with Meenal, founder of Self Love Academy and Self Love and Energy Alignment Coach. After spending nearly 2 decades in education, Meenal followed her inner calling of helping ambitious women who feel unseen or disconnected to reconnect with their truth and feminine energy. Through her program, Radiant You and Coming Home to You, she guides women to balance their inner worlds and truly come home to themselves. I love Meenal's honesty, her strength, and her unwavering belief that women should never dim their light. Let's dive deep with Meenal. Welcome, Meenal, to the show.
Thank you so much, Shruti, for inviting me to this beautiful and wonderful safe space.
Thank you, Meenal. So, Meenal, understanding that you have been into the decade, like 2 decades of education, what inspired you to shift towards self love and energy alignment?
It was my own life struggle. It was my own life journey. Because Shruti, dealing with kids,
Mm-hmm.
definitely I had to deal with moms, right?
Yes.
So it started mirroring me. And to be very honest, the world has put us in the conditioning that we have to be proving our worth, we have to achieve something, we have to earn love by doing more. And that's what I was doing. Only I was checking the list and putting a tick mark and moving ahead. So one achievement, the another achievement. So that's what I was doing, Shruti. And finally, I felt that I was feeling empty. I was feeling lonely in spite of having everything right and perfect on the table, according to the world, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Why I was feeling invisible inside. And that was the turning point of my life. I felt I have been rejected in the love, but to be very honest, I was disconnected from myself.
Okay.
That's what changed my life, Shruti.
Okay, so it's very interesting that you understood that disconnection was your defining moment, and it made you realize that this is not who I am, and there is something more. So, what is it on this path that makes you feel more connected?
To my feminine, to my inner self, who I am. Because we stay in a more masculine world where always doing more, giving more is appreciated, right?
Right.
And since childhood, especially in our time, women was conditioned to believe that she has to prove her worth to the world. She has to achieve something. Kuch karke dikhana hai, then only you are worthy of love, of respect. And
Yes.
that's what I also had, that mindset. So I I educated myself, I got a good job, I got married, fantastic career, everything, right, Shruti?
Mm-hmm.
Everything was really good in my life. But that, when you talk about that disconnection, what you asked me, I forgot who I am. I felt rest was waste of time. I had a lot of issues in trusting other people because I was not trusting myself, right? I
Right.
wanted everything to be in control. I want everything to be perfect. I want everything to be organized. So for me, trusting, surrendering, relaxing, going with the ease, patience, it was not possible. I always wanted to be a strong woman. I always wanted to be hold. I wanted to hold it all together. That time I was not aware that I was operating from my more masculine, but when
Mm.
it was reflected, and my partner, when he became the mirror of that, then I realized that rejection helped me to go deeper and check that. So I used to believe that doing nothing is waste of time. I always wanted to be productive, and being productive is too much masculine, right? I'm not allowing to rest, I'm not allowing myself to surrender to the process. So I was 24/7 in my head, and
Yes.
I was coming out from my heart,
Oh.
right? So maximum women are doing right that only. So all the CEOs, managers, vice presidents, they're appreciated in the boardrooms, but as soon as they come back home, they feel invisible, they feel unloved, because by default they're operating from the patterns of controlling, achieving, proving, do more, give more, and then finally we overthink.
I know. I think overthinking is one concept that, people need to start really understanding what the whole process is about. And, I think it's like something so overwhelming. We question ourselves, we give answers, and again, we come back to the questioning of the answers that we've given. Is it right? Is it wrong? Is it right?
Yes.
Is it wrong? That pendulum keeps on going from right, wrong, but never in the journey that, okay, we can be in the present. Absolutely. So beautifully said. So, Meenal, I see that you've transitioned yourself in, getting clarity, understanding your energy. So, any transition comes with challenges. So, what were your one or two challenges that you faced while you were stepping into this new identity of yours?
The journey started only with the challenge.
Okay.
Right? I was
Yes.
always feeling that I'm not loved. I was always feeling that in spite of being a love marriage, why I'm not getting that, that feeling that I truly belong to this person, right? Uh, and that was the biggest turning point in my life. Because if anyone sees me from the outside world, Shruti, my life was 10 on 10, trust me.
Mhm.
But I knew it that I wanted someone to hold me. I want someone to give me shoulders. I wanted someone to understand me emotionally, right? And that was the challenge. And from there, this journey began. And how I overcome? Because in 2016, I was diagnosed with anxiety.
Okay.
Because, of course, overdoing and overgiving landed me in overthinking. And finally, the body ko give up karna hi tha, and it happened. Uh, when I went for endoscopy, so what was my body symptom? I was burping continuously, Shruti.
Okay.
Okay. And being Indian, everything, all the home remedies was given to me, but
Hmm.
nothing was changing. And back of mind, or in fact, nobody knew it, that it was a body symptom, right? That there
Yes.
is a danger. So when I went for the endoscopy, everything inside was perfectly fit and fine. I was healthy. So doctors asked me, "Are you an overthinker, Meenal?" So I said yes, because for the smallest thing, I used to sit and keep on analyzing, evaluating. These are the words of ambitious women when they are always in head:
Yes.
right, wrong, good, bad, logical thinking. I was into that space. So then it was like I was in anxiety and my body was showing it through burping symptom. Then I was put on 8 medicines, but nothing changed. But Shruti, in 2020, 4 years, I tried everything. 2020, when the whole world was shut, I choose to go deeper. For me, sitting for 2 minutes was very difficult, right? Because I was continuously in my head and thinking. So I heard about meditation, I heard about silence, but I was having this thought process back of my mind. Meditation means silence, so you close your eyes and it has to be blank. And whenever I used to close my eyes, the mind used to chatter. But I did not stop. I started from 2 minutes, 5 minutes. I implemented the Silva method, like counting from 100 to 1 and doing 5 rounds, putting alarm. I keep on doing. And I don't want to, like, it was something miraculous for me. But within 3 months, my spouse told me, Meenal, I'm observing that you're not burping nowadays a lot. I said, is it? So that time also I did not realize that this was a very simple practice of sitting in silence daily for 10 minutes. uh, with that I started my exercise, I started my journaling, I started implementing of choosing and conscious eating. Like, of course I love sweet, but I was very particular. 16 hours intermediate fasting I started, and it happened randomly, Shruti. I don't know. That's what I said. Certain things needs to be surrendered and trusted. But till that time, I was always in my head. And within 5 months, it was gone.
Oh, wow. That's
Right?
an
Yes.
amazing journey.
Yes,
Amazing.
yes. And after that, I have helped so many women coming out. You know, this body is very miraculous, but you don't need to be intellectually thinking of any formula or a rocket science. It's very simple. It's very simple. You have to implement just silence, body movements, breathing consciously, and everything will change. So that's what helped me. And when I shifted, of course anxiety was gone, but the byproduct was I was totally madly in love with myself, because I became aware about what actually I want. Because before that, it was too much of validation and approval from my partner,
Mhm.
you know. But when I started this journey, I started realizing that why I had that doubt. So, two people in my life with whom I was always craving love was my mom and my partner. And
Okay.
both of them were mirroring that I need to go back and come to the frequency of love rather than searching outside, right? So,
Mm.
Shruti, these were the simple habits which I implemented. Of course, with that, I started my journey reading books, implementing right tools and techniques, finding out coaches who helped me in this journey. But it started from this. And when you asked me in the beginning what was the biggest challenge, I would say it was never a challenge. It was a beautiful experience, right? That moment, I really realized that, God, why you did this to me? Right? I did everything right in my life. Why this is happening to me? Why I'm continuously feeling that I'm rejected? I cried like hell. I was suffering from anxiety. But when I see today, I feel it was necessary for this Meenal. Otherwise, she would have never evolved. Otherwise, I would have not found myself back, right?
Ab-
Who doesn't wait for approval, who doesn't wait for validation, who knows who she is, what she wants, and she takes that ownership. So before it was too much of complaining, too much of blaming, but then it was a lot of clarity, no
mm.
chaos. So that's what it began, Shruti.
Absolutely. I think it's so beautifully said, Meenal, that it was clarity and not chaos, because I think first step in any transformative journey is clarity, and that brings you out of chaos, and then you can start taking actions. So what inspired you to call yourself a self-love coach or an energy alignment coach? How would you describe this energy alignment to someone who's never experienced it? You've experienced it, yes,
Yes.
of course, but how would you describe it to how all our audience over here?
Yeah, so Shruti, I will explain in two parts. Number one, when it comes to self love. So, the society and especially the media, uh, they told us self love means pampering yourself, traveling alone, going for solo trips, bubble baths, massaging, shopping. I did everything, to be very honest, because I felt that is what big. See, I was a working woman doing great in my career. So that was something I used to feel, oh wow, I'm doing this to me. I really love myself. But when I was alone in my room, sitting on my bed, it was constantly overthinking. How can a person who loves themselves cannot be at rest, cannot be at clarity, cannot be at peace sitting on their own bed? Right? So,
Absolutely.
whatever world told us about self love was too much surface level. The true self love is going deeper, finding, checking your own shadows, the part which you do not want to show to the world, but knowing who you are, accepting yourself completely, Shruti. So when I started this journey, women like me, who was a leader, I was having 50 people under me. To them, I used to show that I am a bold and a dynamic and a great leader. But deep inside, I had a lot of self doubts. I always, when it comes to my own self, so I would make decisions in a minute for the world at the workplace. But when it comes to me, I was always questioning, is it right? Is it wrong? That cannot be self love, right, Shruti? You have to be very clear in your mind who you are and what you want, correct?
True.
So, when I started this journey, when you said about clarity and the roadmap which you see, it only comes when you start walking it. So, when I started walking it, I realized that since childhood, I was craving for the love from the outside. And we learn love from our mom, okay?
Yes.
That's the touch we get it. So the time, the relationship which I had with my mom, of course she's a very great mom, but I could feel that she used to not express it easily to me. And that's why I was constantly searching it outside, because deep down I had that belief, and we all have, that love is outside.
Yes. That's how we've been brought up, and we've been
Brought
told
up and
to,
conditioned to believe.
you have
Yeah.
to belong to somebody, you have to ask for permissions, you have to seek validation. Yeah, that's basic in
Yes.
women, that is, inculcated since childhood.
Yes. So that's what I did it. But when I started meditation, when I started sitting in silence, ये शांत तो नहीं हुआ, but it was an experience that nonsense was getting removed automatically. Trust me, you don't need to describe it to anyone, because it's an experience which you feel inside, right? I cannot give it in words. But
Yes.
slowly and gradually, I started feeling more calmer. I was not shouting, I was not yelling, I was not begging. I started becoming more graceful. For every situation, I was not just there standing to react immediately. At certain places, I felt, no, I don't need to open my mouth. So I was quiet. And that started giving me more power. So, Shruti, that's how I understand that love is finally self love only, which is inside you. That's the frequency, right? So, no matter whatever you do in the outside world, once you know that you are the powerful divine, that's give you a different, of course this mind will chatter, it will keep on throwing self doubt on you, but if you know how to control it, how to sit, bouncing back is important. We are
Abs.
humans, of course our human self and ego self will put us down, but though, so for me self love is where I understood how to say no to others, where I understood how to set boundaries, where I understood and became aware that these are the patterns and the beliefs I need to replace it, and I started creating the new ones, which helped this version of Meenal, right? I started shrinking myself in front of the world. This is what who I am. If you accept me, fine. If you don't accept me, that is also fine. So people pleasing hatte gaya. So that's what is real love, right? You don't have to be good to everyone. You have to be good to yourself first. So that I
Absolutely.
understood. That was self love. Now, coming on to energy alignment, this whole journey was awakening of knowing that I was too much into masculine. And
Mhm.
for me, trusting others, connection to my body was so wearing a sari or being into the most beautiful divine dress up is not feminine. Feminine means when you believe in yourself, when you start trusting, when you start surrendering that everything is going to happen in my favor only. As Harivansh Rai Bachchan said beautifully, man ka ho to bhala, man ka na ho to aur bhi bhala. It's very good to hear. But when it comes to our own life, we start controlling the outside world. Certain things, when it doesn't happens in our own favor, we lose. We
Yes.
want everything, even the smallest thing. Even if we are the host for a party at our home, we are like, I have to be the best host, preparing 20 dishes, cleaning everything. And in that same party, you don't sit and relax, you're 24/7 just being into doing mode. That I understood, that feminine means even if I have two dishes prepared, but I need to be there, I need to be with them physically, emotionally, and spiritually. So
Absolutely.
that energy shift is only possible when you allow yourself to trust yourself. You don't control the outside things. 20 dishes बना के भी आप किसी की लाइफ में गुड नहीं बनोगे, for
Hmm.
sure. Correct,
Right.
Shruti? But the
Right.
point is when you start getting trusting yourself. So I have prepared only 2 dishes, but I'm going to enjoy this whole party. Shruti, you have also met many women, and I was the person who would do everything best. And in my own party, I was just running here and there, attending the guest. But then when I connected to my feminine, I started enjoying with them the presence. Are you
Wow.
getting it? So that's
Yes.
was so that is the energy alignment. So now I understood, being a coach, being a mom, being a wife, where I have to allow my feminine and where I have to allow my masculine. Before, if you would have met me, I was always giving suggestions and advices. I was always ready with a solution. Now I understood certain people only needs hug when they are coming to me. I don't need to open my mouth always. They just need a safe space. There are certain moments I just need to sit and observe what's happening. Before I used to stand immediately, रुको मैं संभाल लेती हूँ. That's a stronger woman, right? Being
I
the elder daughter, being the responsible. And that's what, Shruti, we all have been conditioned to do. And
absolutely
the strong women need someone, and that someone is you only. So that's what is energy alignment and self love is about.
amazingly explained, and I hope a lot of women who are going through these challenges could connect to you to get themselves into that zone of self-love and energy alignment. But Meenal, I have been hearing you and listening to you right now. What I've understood is one of your core values is trusting yourself. Right?
Yes.
And how does that guide you and help you to stay so authentic in this industry, which can be so superficial? I mean, there are hundreds of coaches. I'm also a coach. I'm into purpose clarity, helping women again aligning their lives with ikigai and being there,
Yes.
doing it. So I understand all of that because I am also aligned. I live it like my life on a full purpose on a daily basis. I am very okay with things. So how does your core value help you to stay authentic in this industry?
To be very honest, it was not easy for me, Shruti, because it was a transition being an educator for 20 years, then coming from past 3 years to industry and seeing everyone doing good everywhere on social media. It's about numbers,
Hmm.
correct? I'm earning this in this years. In beginning it was very difficult to me because again I hop in into the masculine pushing myself, jaldi jaldi karo, I have to be super successful. Trust me, it's you. Even if you become aware, it's not that your ego self will be silent. It is going to pop up seeing the outside world. Correct.
Yeah.
So then I also started this with race, and of course meeting different coaches, having business coaches for myself. They used to talk about the numbers, and they always wanted me abhi itna kiya, abhi itna pahuncho. And again I started that journey. But there's somewhere or the deep down in this 3 years of journey, to be very honest, after 1.5 years or almost 2 years, I realized that again I'm into that same space,
Okay.
rushing myself, right? Rushing myself. Someone who has invested 15 years, someone who has invested 5 years, 10 years, and social media is full of likes, follows, you know. Uh, of course, many a times again I hopped up into that self doubt, because self doubt is something your ego self wo jaane nahi wala hai. Time to time it is going to, but it's you, how you control, how you believe in yourself, and you bounce back. So there I paused and I asked myself again my why.
Perfect.
Yeah, because when you asked me how do you stay authentic, whenever I feel that I'm coming to my wounded masculine where I have to overachieve, I go immediately, I pause and I sit and I write down my why. Because whenever I have met any business coach, they have asked me first question, कितना कमाना है?
Hmm.
So when it starts with kamana only, then you cannot have that smooth space. And Shruti, I came from a background where money was not an issue. It started from my rejection phase, right? So that's
Yes.
what why
Yes.
that brings me back. And that's why I always work with ambitious women who are respected in the boardroom and who feels unseen and unloved in their own home. So it's very simple. I just remember my why, and I'm back.
Wow. That's so
That's
wonderful
what
because
it is about.
yes, it's about your purpose and how you stay aligned to it. And you mentioned it that it'll keep chattering, it'll keep happening, you keep revisiting,
Yeah,
and
it is going to happen.
you keep going back, bouncing back, showing your resilience and moving forward. And you've already shared with us so many tips that how you can start getting that chatter that is so loud to making it more
Yeah.
silent, and it's beautiful. So when you have been doing this to yourselves and you're helping so many women around you, what do you think is the ripple effect that you're creating in the world?
That's a beautiful question. This whole life starts with love, right?
Hmm.
But there was love missing in everyone's life
So true.
because the society, especially the concept of marriage. It started that you will find love outside. But I always had this question in my mind, why I have not attracted the right man. With time, I understood when you become right, when you vibrate in that frequency, everything becomes right and perfect outside. Not to say perfect, but in an alignment. So, Shruti, when you ask this question, it's very beautiful. I just want every woman, and especially it's my mission that I want 1 million women to know or to become aware that the right person, that love is very much within them. Because once a woman comes to that frequency, trust me, the whole world will change. Because in centuries, women have suppressed their emotions and they have seen themselves through other people's opinion and other people's eye.
Wow, so that's so wonderful. So, tell me something, Meenal. This is out of maybe context because when you're saying that you want to help 1 million women, uh, how do you help them stay consistent on the journey? Because, like for you,
Yeah.
you are well aware, but they may feel disconnected after a point of time. The situation, the environment, it all takes it to a level where ओके अभी अभी जरूरत नहीं है अभी इस पे ध्यान नहीं दे सकते दिस इज नॉट समथिंग आई नीड टू लुक एट राइट नाउ बिकॉज दिस इज मोर इम्पोर्टेंट सो हाउ डू यू हेल्प देम टू स्टे कंसिस्टेंट
So, first of all, that's what I have worked with hundreds of women, and I have realized till now that when we play the roles, we are too much into the roles. So, when your kids are having exam, playing that role is very important. When you have marriages at your home, playing that role is important. So, my job here is to make them aware that first you be the main character of your life. Correct. Now, when you said that, how do you do that? How do you keep them consistent? It's through action. Nothing happens without action. Okay. So, when you talk about action, I have a proper structured system created for the morning routine and the night routine. So, once they come to me, we give them that hand holding and the proper structured curriculum, which includes morning night routine and everyday 10 to 15 minutes rituals to perform.
ओके
Correct? So whenever they distract in the role, see, I'm Meenal, but for 10 minutes in a day, I have to play the role of a mom. Maybe 20 minutes, I have to play the role of a wife. Maybe 10 minutes, I have to play the role of a daughter in law. But again, I have to come back to myself.
ओके
Correct? That's what awareness, and that's how I have created that complete system. So trust me, till now, anyone who has joined and who has given me the opportunity to be the part of their life and serve them, very honest, Shruti, they distract but they bounce back. They distract and they bounce back. And I want to be very open enough. If anybody tells you the line is going to be the straight, it's wrong. It is going to be up and down, because expectations are there when you're playing roles and responsibilities. Correct. And my job is to make them aware that you are not your roles. So if you're
ब्यूटिफुल
constantly giving importance to your role, then you're not meant for this journey.
Okay, that's wonderful. So, Meenal, where can our listeners connect to you, and if they want to be a part of your journey, how do they connect to you?
Of course, they can connect me on all the social media platforms: LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Everywhere I'm available.
Okay,
Shruti, you can definitely share. My handle is Life Coach Meenal on Instagram, Self Love Coach on Facebook, and Life Coach Meenal on YouTube, and on LinkedIn also Meenal. So they can go, they can get connected, and if they have any questions, if they want to share with me their certain issues, they are most welcome.
awesome, awesome, Meenal. Meenal, my last question to you: what would be a message from your heart that you want to leave to our audience?
Before you leave this planet, find yourself.
Wow, that is beautiful. I mean, I am feeling like if someone who's not, because of course I am myself on a journey like that. I know myself, I have clarity, I have my purpose clear. But yes, for people who do not have that, yes, you can connect with Meenal if you're looking at energy alignment, if you're looking at self love. And yes, I'm also there if you're looking at living your purpose on a daily basis. So great. So, Meenal, thank you so much for such an honest and heart opening conversation. I mean, you were absolute natural. You were not ready to, not share. You were so open to sharing your own journey, how you have come from where you were to today where you are. And I'm really, really grateful that you were a part of this.
Thank you so much, Shruti. Thank you so much. And it means a lot because it's responsibility of us as a women to reach to different women to show them that, yes, it's your life.
Yes,
Get back to yourself.
absolutely. And thank you, audience, for listening to Voices of Vision. Until next time, keep seeking clarity, living with intention, and staying true to yourself. Thank you.
Thank you.